Warning, some of the following clips are not performed by me, sadly. If you love what you see here, go support the original video creators. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a special episode of Every Pokémon Ever. 2 years ago, we dove into the rarely explored corners of Generation 1 Pokémon, from defunct theme park attractions to several unique arcade machines. Hey, Super TV Denwa ran so the Poke Hammer game could fly, okay? But our world has evolved, and there are many more mysteries out there. Today we're going to uncover the curiosities of Gen 2 Pokémon. Let's go! For our first story, we need to travel back to the year 1997 in the Nintendo Spaceworld convention in Japan. You might remember that we discussed this event before while talking about NIUE releases for the Gen 1 games, and this convention showcased several N64 titles, but among them was a special early beta version of Pokémon Gold and Silver. The games were a Johto story based completely off of Professor Oak's childhood memories, so there are some discrepancies to real life, like Brandon and Brandon? I know you always forgot his name, but I had no idea you forgot how many of him there are. Must be all that pineapple pizza. Anyway, we start out in good old New Bark, Silent Hill, and choose our starter Pokemon. I would go with Cyndaquil. Oh, Totodile? Are you kidding me? That thing made it in? The Pokemon for these games were very different from the actual Pokemon of the region, and included some new evolution methods, such as the Heart and Poison Stones? Come on, Eevee, eat the stone. Eat the stone, child. And then there's the Johto region itself, which is painted in a very different light. From the volcanic ruins of the town of South, to the snowy reaches of Blue Forest, to a place called Kanto Town? That's the miniature Kanto region crammed into one singular city, like Disneyland. Some of these locations are a mystery to me. And the things you can do, you can laze about on the beaches of Sugar Island, go on a minecart adventure, and even skateboard? Why didn't I get a skateboard? This fantastical take on the Johto region changed its scope over time, but the heart and soul of what makes it such a great place are still here, and I could spend much more time dwelling on what could have been. But let's move on. While our coverage of the anime films and associated websites has been intense, there is a Pokemon film that flies under the radar of most fans. And no, I'm not talking about the winter special. Merry Christmas! But rather a follow-up to the first Pokemon movie called Mewtwo Returns, which takes place in the Johto arc of the anime, and follows Giovanni's chase of the rare and powerful Pokemon. Mewtwo has led his clone army from the first movie to a hidden lake in the western Johto Mountains called Mount Quena, where he hopes to watch over them in peace as he has determined that there is no place for clones in the normal world. But Giovanni has different plans, and leads Team Rocket to the area to try to capture Mewtwo. The movie concludes, of course, with Team Rocket's defeat at the hands of Ash Ketchum, and Mewtwo once again fleeing with the clones to another safe location. But this is an interesting watch for fans of the first movie seeking further adventures, and may very well explain the disappearance of Giovanni after Team Rocket's downfall in Kanto 4 years ago. Of course, like many of the other Pokemon things, the Kids WB website had a pretty odd-looking animated Flash wallpaper you could download. That's cool. This is not the Mewtwo from the movie. I'm coming to eat your children. Mewtwo's return wasn't the only curious anime story either. As we've mentioned a couple of times, there was a self-contained animated series called Raikou, The Legend of Thunder, that follows Johto trainers Jimmy and Marina as they explore the myths of everyone's least favorite legendary beast.
Attention Pokemon trainers, introducing PokéROM mystery packs. 30 all-new Pokemon featuring all new
not
Pokemon
this.
characters. Each mystery pack comes...
The wonderful PokéROM CD game for PC that we took a shot at back in the day has 30 all-new CDs based on select Johto Pokemon. There's not much more to say about this, as the gameplay experience is exactly the same, for better or worse. Thanks to Brandon, the worst rival ever, we experienced a board game sequel like no other, Pokémon Master Trainer 2. But it isn't the only familiar face to get a new spin. Pikachu Match 'em Catch 'em, that game where Brandon and I whacked plastic Pikachu tails to grab the cards that matched a randomized slot machine. Yeah, no sugarcoating it, that's what it was. Well, that game has a carbon copy sequel out featuring Pichu. I find this edition a little less exciting, but it's cool that the game warranted a new Johto edition. But toy stores are also loading up on new merch, from all new battle figurines, RIP Charmander, to full playsets inspired by Pokemon 2000 and Pokemon 3 the movie. I love the 2000 one because it comes with smaller clamshell sets for the Elemental Islands. Just wow. Of course, when it comes to merch, it would be impossible for me to document it all. But just know that there are shoes, toys, and food promotions up the wazoo. Yay. More soup. Ugh. Speaking of sequels, another fond memory I have is of Pokemon Craft, the special origami set that lets you build 3 Pokemon. Well, fond is a strong word. But this set released deluxe editions that come with a little stand, and one such deluxe set focused on Pokemon 2000, complete with an origami Lugia. So you know what we're gonna do, let's get foldin'. I just realized Lugia's wings are on a separate sheet. That makes way more sense. Look, a swan. Yeah, I did not need to do that again. Now we're getting into the arcade machines. After the first Mystery Arcade episode, where we explored all sorts of wacky ideas, Ben Presto decided to reskin some old favorites, like Elemecha Telenori, but also released this machine in 2001 called Pokemon Get a Medal. The idea was simple, almost too simple. You pay money for virtual medals and then use them to buy Pokeballs, then push the button as the machine scrolls past several Pokemon. If you catch a higher level Pokemon, you'll be rewarded with more virtual medals in the end. But watch out, as these Pokemon may also escape. Once your balls are gone, you can end the game and receive a prize. It reminds me so much of our Sega Pico adventure. Another arcade wonder very similar to Sega's Pokemon Catch the Numbers is Pokemon Crayon Kids. It's basically Mario Paint in an arcade cabinet. You choose from 3, quote, difficulties, Pichu, Pikachu, or Raichu, and then get to color a picture as close to the example as possible. Pichu mode auto-selects the colors for you, while Pikachu lets you choose your own colors but keeps you in the lines. And then the Master or Raichu mode lets you color anywhere you want. What's cool about this machine is that you get to print out your final art piece once you're done and keep it forever. Nice. Let's take a detour over to the world of the Pokemon Adventures manga series. The first comics were an epic and personal look at the world of Pokemon. I love the feeling of reading this rich adventure, especially that moment. The artists have continued the spirit of the manga to a gold and silver based adventure revolving around Brandon and I's game counterparts. By continuing the story from the first series, several important plot details come to light. Just as in the first timeline we learned of Blaine's involvement with the creation of Mewtwo, the GS arc of the manga eventually incorporates the character of Crystal into the story, who was my neighbor in New Barktown, I think? I don't know, I didn't stay there very long. Anyway, without spoiling too much about it, I find it humorous, like how much of an a-hole mystical man Yucine is. He just crashes through this barn, and then magically cures a Miltank of sickness just to prove how mystical he is. Sabrina also gives us one of the best Pokemon moments ever, for reasons. Interestingly, one of the volumes even has a shout out to Pokemon Tetris Mini. Yeah, that Pokemon Tetris Mini, which is super random, and also reveals a terrifying masked villain who was the interim Team Rocket boss after Giovanni's departure, who kidnapped trainers and brainwashed his enemies. No joke, this guy is truly scary. And that must be why all those Team GR cronies wore masks, huh? Just an homage to their ex-ruler. Thank goodness our paths never crossed. But aside from Tall, Dark, and Sleepy, this series is such a fun look at the wonderful world of Pokémon. Speaking of Team Rocket, there was a real radio drama release that explored the past of notorious leader Giovanni and his ties to Mewtwo.
けど、こんなになっても私松は待ち続けます。そう、ミュウを待ってます。
This was later adapted into a prequel to Pokemon the First movie, showing a baby Mewtwo having an inner struggle with his purpose for existence as a clone, and also exploring Dr. Fuji's motivations to make a stable clone of his daughter that passed away. Ugh. There's no doubt that Fuji had ties to Team Rocket, being the scientist that spearheaded the hunt for the Mew DNA in a distant jungle. By the time we met him in Lavender Town, that was far in the past. But this expands our understanding of why a sweet old man would associate with a criminal organization. But the radio drama is where we find out the history of Giovanni's obsession with this Pokemon. It has to do with his mom, a woman named Madame Boss. She disliked Pokemon, but had a strong desire to chase the rarest one of all, the mythical Mew. When one of her grunts, named Miyamoto, brought back an apparent audio recording of Mew, it consumed the Madame's life until she passed the mantle of Team Rocket on to her only son, Giovanni. And the end of Miyamoto's story is unknown, but we do know a fossilized eyelash of Mew would eventually be found, and the rest is history. We also know that the Team Rocket grunt Miyamoto had a daughter you may have heard of, none other than Jessie from the Team Rocket trio, possibly explaining why Giovanni never has the heart to kick her out of the gang. Because of her mother's immense research into Mew for not only his own mom, but for Giovanni's one true ambition in life, to own the most powerful Pokemon in the world. Out of all the odd Pokemon events we talked about, I don't know why anything surprises me anymore, but this one caught my eye. Amid the marketing for Pokemon Crystal in 2001, the Los Angeles Public Library was treated to a special Pokemon spelling bee, hosted by none other than iconic comedian Ben Stein.
Bueller.
Pikachu and Pichu mascots were there as well, and the contest began with a shot-fire round of translating words from the unknown language to English. This would weed out the true fans from the rest, and dove straight into a spelling bee revolving around the names of Pokemon. The grand prize winner was able to score a cool $2,000 in memories to last a lifetime. Pokémon Adventures weren't the only literary releases worth noting. I mean, we did cover every Golden Books novel, but there was a marvelous hand-drawn book titled Guidebook to Pokemon Island. Not to be confused with that Pokemon Island from Pokemon Snap, or even Pokemon Island 2001, a different Pokemon Island. I mean, look at these drawings. I am in love. These remind me of the Southern Islands TCG collection, and these art spreads are beautiful. There was also another comic release called Pokemon Gold and Silver The Golden Boys. I'm not making that up, which is just another retelling of the Johto story. I find it less amusing than Adventures, but to each their own. There's also the Magical Pokemon Journey comic series, which originally released as PPP Adventure. Wait, what? Oh, that's who that is. It all makes sense now. Anyway, this title reflects Pikachu and Pirin, or Jigglypuff, and follows the journey of the girl named Hazel as she attempts to acquire a love potion from her grandpa to win over a man named Almond. Huh. This cute take on the Pokemon universe is on a tangent far from the games. It was definitely geared towards getting girls interested in Pokemon as a whole. But I like it, especially since her rival is named Coconut, and that's cool. There's also an issue of Pokemon Magical Journey called Clefairy's Blue Period. Yeah, I'm no doctor, but you should definitely go get that checked out. Let's head back over to the arcades with the Pikachu Rock Paper Scissors Battle for Position arcade cabinet. This one has a Meowth and Pikachu that will charge toward each other. You have to select rock, paper, or scissors at the proper moment, hoping to trump the opponent's hand and win the match. If only real Team Rocket squabbles could be solved like this, then the anime episodes would only be 3 minutes long. This machine is pretty cool, but I think I'll stick with the real rock, paper, scissors for now. You'll remember talking about Super Smash Bros. For the N64, and its inclusion of both Pikachu and Jigglypuff, plus a unique Saffron City stage and a Pokeball item that would bring a random Pokemon to the field. Still weirded out by the flying swarm of Cliffhanger, but now there's an all-new Super Smash Bros. Experience that dropped last year. Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. These graphics are amazing. Our boy Pikachu is back in action, appearing smack dab on the front cover. While the Saffron City course is not here, there's a new course titled Pokemon Stadium. Which is just generically floating in a coliseum. Yeah, but the stage does change forms throughout a battle, so that's cool. After 200 total versus matches, you do unlock a secret course called Poké Floats, where you battle atop these giant Pokemon balloons in the sky. I like the inclusion of Wooper and Sudowoodo. Nice. But also, like the first games, this title brings some secret unlockable Pokemon characters. Jigglypuff is back, which can be obtained by defeating Classic Mode, Adventure Mode, or by winning 50 versus matches. They're just giving that one away. The new contender Pichu is unlocked by playing through the 37th Melee event, or by doing 200 versus matches. Coincidentally, what we had to do to unlock Poké Floats. Well, Pichu is not good. Just ugh. And lastly, but bestly, fan favorite Pokemon Mewtwo is a playable character in this game. To unlock him, you have to... What? You have to play versus mode for 20 hours? Or complete 700 versus matches? Yeah, I don't have time to do that. Luckily, there's a trick. The 20 hours can be spread across 4 players, so by starting up a 4-player versus match and leaving our GameCube on for 5 hours while we go take a break, Mewtwo will be ours in no time.
5 hours later.
Alright! I took a nap and I'm feeling great! Mewtwo is finally here to battle. He is the coolest character in this game, hands down. And the Pokeball item could call 29 Pokemon to the field this time around. Like, Chikorita? No, okay. Cyndaquil. And even Entei, Ho-Oh, and Lugia. Whoa! But we all know the one you're here to see. Porygon 2, am I right? Just kidding. Of course, Celebi, who will also grant you a cool Celebi trophy. Yeah, the list of Pokemon trophies in this game is excessive. Most of them randomly obtained, but a handful require silly tasks, such as hitting a combined 16,000 feet in the Home Run Derby minigame. To get this unknown ball thingy. Most of these models look based off of Stadium, but some, oh my, Eevee's eyes are staring into my soul, look new. Hey look, a Meowth's Party reference.
Throw a party, admission will be free.
Oh, Professor Oak in 3D? And Misty. And probably brought, the 01. You know, the caravan we used in Pokemon Snap. Huh. And of course there's also several hundred trophies outside of the Pokemon universe as well. What a game this is. A completionist nightmare. While Melee was a huge step forward for Pokemon in gaming, Vietnam saw a huge step back with this notorious bootleg game. Since the country was unable to have an official release, this ROM hack took over the market there. and by playing it, you might immediately notice that this is like no Pokemon game you've ever seen. I don't know who tried to translate this, but it seems like the words were thrown in a blender, and the results are absolutely hilarious. What?! Whoa, what are you even saying? At least this is better than that bootleg Pokemon Diamond game, which is not even based on a Pokemon game. Yeah. At the turn of the century, Nintendo teamed up with prolific company Jaguar. No, not the Atari Jaguar. Simmer down. I know some of you had Sega Pico PTSD there. I mean Jaguar as in the sewing machine manufacturer, to release a special machine called the Nintendo Game Boy Jaguar NIUE system. This colored machine had functionality with the Game Boy, seeing a special quote-unquote game release called Mario Family that would program your NIUE sewing machine to stitch on designs from the Mario world. Spaceworld 2001 also showcased a Kirby collection that would, unfortunately, never release publicly. But interestingly, it was stated that 3 Pokemon cartridges were in the works as well. These have never turned up, not even as prototypes. But still, Jaguar's fierce competitor in the sewing machine market, Brother, put out multiple Pokemon sewing cards that had a similar effect. No Game Boy required. You want to stitch a Lugia on your underpants? Why buy Big Bird pants when mom can make them at home? Now that's stylish. This arcade curiosity is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Welcome to Pikachu's Great Surfing Adventure. Once you begin the game, you get to steer Lapras through a treadmill river course, aiming to hit as many Pokeballs as possible. Aiming to hit as many Pokeballs as possible. If you hit any obstacles like Voltorb, the game will slow down, hindering you from your goal of maxing out your points. I think this is very relaxing. 10 out of 10, perfect arcade machine. While we have showboated our Pokemon VHS movie collection for weeks now, the world is an ever-evolving place, and the new medium of film that's all the rage is DVD. While I personally like the randomness of picking up a half-rewinded video rental, DVDs often include fun bonus features hidden within their menus. But while the first 3 Pokemon films, released under Warner Bros., have some audio commentary from Michael Hagney, who despises me, they're pretty lacking in the bonus content department. However, the Forever movie was the beginning of a new era for the films as they shifted to Miramax, and their DVD has some additional features, such as a unique trivia game that we will of course be taking. That song's a jam. Over in the special features, we'll find the Pokemon Forever trivia game.
Are you ready to play the Pokemon Forever trivia game?
My body is ready.
Which one of the hunter's Pokemon does the Iron Mask Marauder take?
Celebi? Oh no, wait.
No, that's not it.
Are you kidding me? We literally just talked about this last episode.
What kind of house do Diana and her grandmother live in?
They live in tree houses, I know that one.
Tree houses? That's right, Brock. Welcome to Arborville.
The sound of time traveling? The voice of the forest, obviously.
What attack was Scizor using to confuse Bayleaf?
I don't know, everything confuses Bayleaf, but probably Double Team. Yep. That was Stantler. Foreshadowing. Ash compared the sketchbook to a Pokédex, therefore giving Professor Oak the idea to make the Pokédex based on Ash already having a Pokédex. See? It's a paradox.
That was near perfect. Great job!
I did great. And even more content can be unlocked by inserting the disc into your PC. Including a full version of Pokemon Play It? They put Julie on this DVD? Why?
I'm a Pokemon trainer just like you.
No, I didn't forget our first brush with Dutch Pokemon coins. or watching every single episode of Pokemon Flippo Update. But the Dutch now have another unique Pokemon coin set courtesy of Super de Boer supermarkets called Munten. Just like Flippo, you would acquire Munten packs and place them in your Munten map book to try and collect them all. This coin challenge didn't include an official game, instead providing some basic coin games you can play, like heads or tails, closest to the center, etc. Or even a spinning game, much like the battling coin game, with much less rules, thank goodness. Still, you can't deny how cool these colorful metal coins look. What's even cooler is that Great Britain actually had an official $1 coin release featuring Pokemon. A real-life PokéDollar, take my money. Akin to the world of coin collecting, the Pokesta stamp rally has also lived on, sporting several Johto releases. How about that? A huge celebration kicked off in 2002 called Pokémon Festa, geared towards an interactive experience for families. Now hold on a minute. That Pokémon from that one Flash game? He's not real. There's no way I missed him. This has gotta be a mistake. Well, that's odd. But anyway, Festa was a fun time, with all of the interactive games, a stage play that looks like they reused mascot outfits from the Pokemon Pirate Show thingy, and most importantly, a humongous Shuckle bounce house. What an epic party. You may remember that last year we explored Game Freak's HQ website, which housed a collection of unique computer wallpapers that were stunning pieces of art. In the years since, they have archived several more artworks that have become very obscure. Like this 3D render of a Gengar holding a Game Boy. That is such an epic picture, gah! Or this rare shot of me in snow gear. And even Pokemon drinking too much soda. As a soda connoisseur, I can definitely relate to that one. Blah. These long-lost pieces of art, especially the ones by Ken Sugimori, are absolutely beautiful. However, one picture that Pokemon probably wants you to forget is this one of Officer Jenny sporting a pistol. That's right, an official drawing of a Pokemon gun. Wow. But my absolute favorite pieces of art are the Misty swimsuit collection. Thank you, Sugimori-san. Thank you very much. With Pokemon being such a major franchise, it has of course crept its way into several cameos. And I don't just mean that one time a kid prank called a Christian prayer network saying he was mugged by Team Rocket.
You can talk to them, just extend your reach to the stars above. They didn't care, and they mugged me.
Well, you know, Ash...
Although that's hilarious. For example, take GameCube's newest and coziest life simulation game, Animal Crossing. Whoops. In the game, your villagers can ask you to deliver items to neighbors. And if you're lucky, one of these items might just be the Pokemon Pikachu GS. I can't believe someone would make you do this. I just throw that thing in the trash. My legs still hurt from that expedition. There is a second reference in this game too. Well, sort of. You see, by syncing up with the good old Nintendo e-reader, which requires a special link cable that connects your GBA to your GameCube. One moment. You can scan an e-reader pattern card into the Able Sisters shop, and one of these cards is a unique Pokeball design. For those looking to spice up their village with a little Pokemon flavor. Excellent. A more common Easter egg lies in the best game of all time, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. At one point in the game, a guard will be ecstatic to receive a Keaton mask because his son will be so happy. It might be a stretch to say this comment was relating the mask to Pikachu's popularity, but the German version of the game all but confirms it. If you talk to Zelda while wearing the mask, she guesses that you are in fact a pocket monster. Pika Pika. I mean, this is the same game that has the Pocket Cuckoo, a literal chicken you shove in your pants. If that's not a reference, I don't know what is. Nicktoon World News had coverage of Pokemon 3 the movie when it came out, even having one of the hosts transform. Oh my. And let's not talk about
Pokemon rap. Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Articuno, Jinx, Nidorino, Beedrill, Hunter, Squirtle, Channy, Pokemon.
even shows for younger audiences, like Arthur, got in on the fun with Dopemon cards.
You got Stinkachu!
In Otter reference, Austin Powers showcased an actual Celebi mascot. I'm 90% sure this mascot just happened to be here at the time of filming, or maybe Mike Myers is a huge Pokemon fan. We will never know. You might remember when checking out early 2000s Flash games, we found out that Neopets actually hosted a couple of Pokemon games on their website. They couldn't help but poke fun at their friendly rival with this creature called the Pikachu Eater. Oh no. And somehow Pikachu straight up appeared in Osmosis Jones. I'm sure Game Freak knew about that, right? And South Park had Chin Pokemon, which is just... well, you know how that show goes.
You can collect them all. Furry Cat, Donkey Trunk, Penguin, Shoe, Lamtor. Collect them all and you can become Royal Crown Chimpoko Master.
Royal Crown Chimpoko Master, holy
And I'm sure there are several other Easter eggs across mainstream media, because the marketing power of Pokemon cannot be beat. Thanks for joining me on a journey through lesser-known Pokemon facts. Remember to stay awesome, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Ow! Sarah and her partner Pokemon Bulbasaur, stolen by the Masked Man, trained in the art of thievery, whereabouts unknown. Oh, Sarah, what did they do to you? Brandon, aka Blue, Pokemon League champion, son of... I knew it! Last known location, leaving Viridian City in search of... me? What? That doesn't make sense. Brandon knows where to find me.